Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your friend Arman. So today in this video we're gonna learn another topic of law of tort. So today we have abuse of legal process. So what is abuse of legal process? Everything you will get in this video, important case laws and everything. So please watch this video till the end, and before I begin, I'm requesting you please subscribe to my channel and do hit the like button if you find this video helpful, and do not forget to share this video with your friends. Okay, so guys, let's understand what is abuse of legal process. Okay, so abuse of legal process, so there are two terms. Okay, that is, one is legal process and another is abuse. So what is legal process? Legal process is a process like by filing a suit, okay, by filing a suit against the defendant. When a plaintiff files a suit against a defendant, that is a what? That is a legal process. Okay, because that is done in the court of law. So that is the legal process, and when such legal process will be termed as abuse. Okay, so when a person files a false complaint, a false case against the defendant, and on that basis, suppose the plaintiff file a suit in the court against the defendant. Okay, so on that basis the court issues a summon against the defendant. So once the summon is issued against the defendant, that is what, and after that, after the suit carries on. Okay, the carries on, and when the suit is dismissed by the court, if the court finds it that whatever the suit is being filed by the plaintiff is frivolous or say false, so in that particular time, the court will dismiss the suit. So once the suit is dismissed, so that will called as the abuse of legal process, which means, like, in simple word, when a person files a suit which is false suit against the defendant, so and on that basis court issues a summon against the defendant, so that will be abuse of legal process. Okay, and if we see the bookish language, then in book it is written like that: judicial proceeding instituted So it is written like that: so abuse of legal process is a judicial proceeding instituted by one person against another from wrongful or improper motive and without probable cause to sustain it. Okay, so which means, like, it is a judicial proceeding filed by the plaintiff, so filed by the defendant. One person means the filed by the defendant against another means a defendant. Okay, sorry, instituted by the plaintiff, okay, against the another person, defendant, from wrongful or improper motive, means having the malice. Okay, malice means what? Wrongful intention. Okay, so having the wrongful or improper motive and without probable cause to sustain it, and he do not have, the person who filed the suit, he do not have particular reasonable cause or say probable cause to sustain it. Okay, like he do not, like his case do not have any say power to sustain it. Okay, he just filed a suit just to harass, with the intention to harass the defendant. Okay, simple is that. Okay, now there is a definition given by the court, Supreme Court, in the case of West Bengal state. So in the case of West Bengal State Electricity Board versus Dilip Kumar Ray 2007, so in this case the Supreme Court has given the definition that like in order to constitute the malicious prosecution, what are things required. Okay, that means the essentials. The Supreme Court is given the essentials in order to constitute abuse of legal process. Okay, so the essentials were like, so number one, no probable cause. No probable cause existed for suit. And number two, that such suit terminated Yeah, so in this case, the Supreme Court has opined that in order to constitute the abuse of legal process, there should be two essential. The no probable cause existed for the suit. Okay, so there is no any cause or particular reason for filing a suit. Okay, whatever the reason is being provided by the plaint by the plaintiff is false. That means false. Okay, he do not have sufficient reason. Okay, and number two, what is that? Like that such suit terminated. Okay, the suit is terminated by the court, and once the suit, like the moment the suit is terminated, that is in favor of the defendant. Okay, so in that case, so if these two things are satisfied, then that will be termed as abuse of legal process. Okay, and once the person filed a suit against the defendant and which is false, that will be called as abuse of legal process. And in return, after the dismissal or termination of the suit, the other person against whom the suit is being filed get the right to sue the defendant, okay, for the damages. Okay, let's see. So there is a two party, A and B. Okay, so A is a plaintiff and B is a defendant. Okay, so plaintiff filed a false case against defendant. Okay, so then the court dismissed the case. Okay, the court dismissed the case. Okay, after that what will happen? Dismiss the case. Defendant is being harassed. Okay, the defendant is being harassed because of because of the act of the A, because plaintiff filed a false case against B. So that is why the defendant has to go to the court, and his time being wasted. Maybe like other wrongs are also being done to him because of the false case. Maybe like what if he is a businessman, then maybe that whatever the things he has done because of the false case, he might have suffered various kind of loss because due to that case. So that is why there is a loss. Okay, there is a loss on the part of the defendant. So once the case is dismissed by the court and court said that the case is false, okay, so in that case the defendant will get the right to ask for the damages from the plaintiff. Now the defendant will turn it to be a plaintiff, and A will be the defendant. Okay, so that process will be called damages for malicious use of process. So yeah, the file then after the termination of the suit, the suit being filed by the defendant against the plaintiff, that will be called damages for the malicious use of process. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, now we will see the essentials of the abuse of legal process. So number one essential is that number one, there should be a prosecution. There should be a prosecution. Okay, so it is the number one requirement that there should be a prosecution. So now the question arises, what is prosecution and how it commences? Okay, so prosecution commences when the person what is prosecution? When the court issues a summon on the basis of the plaint filed by the plaintiff against the defendant, so that will be called prosecution. Okay, that means the legal process is start from that moment. The legal process is start. So the plaintiff files a plaint, and after that what will happen? The court will issue a summon against the defendant. Okay, so defendant had to so what is the reason? What is the reason of summon? Summon is a what? Summon is a notice on to the defendant for calling. Okay, it is a calling notice to the defendant. That court is asking the defendant to come to the court and answer the plaint, answer whatever the allegations that is being forwarded in the put in the plaint. So now it is the responsibility of the defendant to visit to the court and say look into the matter, and whatever the allegations that given by the plaintiff, whether it is true or false, everything the defendant has to reply. So that reply will be called what? WS, that means written statement. So so the moment the court issues a summon against the defendant, so that will be called as the legal process. So that from that moment the prosecution starts. So that is a prosecution. So there should be a prosecution if there is no summon. Okay, if there is no summon, just court is asking to the defendant to visit to the court. If the court just issues a notice, mere notice, so that will be not termed as the prosecution. Okay, so number one essential is that there should be a prosecution. Okay, so on this respect there is a case law, Bolananda Pemaya. Versus so in this case the Bolananda Pemaya versus Dayananda. In this case what happened? The plaintiff filed a suit against the defendant, not suit. Okay, the plaintiff, there was a plaintiff filed a complaint. Okay, plaintiff filed a complaint So plaintiff filed a complaint to the sub-inspector of police. Okay. So in this case, Bolananda Pemaya versus Dayananda, in this case the plaintiff filed a suit against the defendant, the plaintiff filed a complaint to the police authority against the defendant, that alleging that the plaintiff defendant has theft. Okay, the plaintiff has committed theft of cardamom. Okay, what is cardamom? Cardamom and fish traps. Okay, cardamom and fish trap. So what is cardamom? Cardamom is a lychee. Okay, and fish trap is a net. Okay, where you trap your fish. Okay, so in this case the plaintiff filed a complaint to the police authorities against the defendant, alleging that the defendant has committed the theft of cardamom and the fish traps. Okay, so on the basis of that complaint, what the police does, okay, on the basis of that complaint, what the police does, police visited to the defendant's house. Police visited to the defendant's house, and after that what happened? The police conducted the search in the house of the defendant, and once the search is done, there is no such cardamom or fish traps, okay, as alleged by the plaintiff. So the police did not find anything in the defendant's premises. So that's why the police has dismissed the complaint and said that the case is false. I mean the allegation forwarded by the plaintiff was false, and the defendant has not committed any theft. Okay, so after that what happened? After that, once the dismissal of the complaint, the defendant filed a suit against the defendant that he is being harassed by the defendant because due to and this is the abuse of legal process, that he has filed a false complaint against me, so that's why I have suffered a loss. So in that case, the court has said that mere filing a complaint against the executive authorities does not be termed as prosecution. Okay, so that was the opinion of the court, that mere filing a complaint against the executive authorities, and since there is no exercise of the legal process like summon, written statement, nothing like that, so in that case, so if such things are not present, that is not termed as prosecution, and if that is not prosecution, that means that is not an abuse of legal process. As simple as that. Okay, so this is the first essential. And when does the prosecution commence? So now another point in this regard also, that when does the prosecution commence? The commencement of prosecution. So when does the process of when does the prosecution commence? Okay, so this is the question here. So now let's understand that commencement of the proceeding. So in this respect, there is a important case law. Okay, Khagendra Nath versus Jacob Chandra. So in this case also, the plaintiff filed a complaint against the executive authority, alleging that the defendant has wrongfully took away the blue card. Okay, So in this case, the plaintiff filed a suit against the defendant, alleging that the plaintiff, not a suit. The plaintiff complained that defendant has took away the blue card belonging to the plaintiff. So in this case, the defendant filed a mere azhar, okay, to the police only. Okay, the plaintiff filed a mere azhar, okay, azhar, okay. So azhar, there is no English word for it, so we have to write azhar as azhar only. So the plaintiff filed a suit against not a complaint against the defendant, and that complaint is called as azhar here. Okay, the plaintiff filed a azhar to the plaintiff against the defendant, alleging that the defendant has took away the blue card belonging to the plaintiff, and requested the plaintiff requested the executive authorities to do something for it. Okay, so here in this case, neither the defendant was arrested, okay, nor any so in this case, neither the defendant was arrested nor he was prosecuted. Okay, the case was not gone to the court. Okay, so in that case, neither the defendant was arrested nor there was a prosecution. So in that time, so in the absence of both the thing, like there no prosecution, no arrest, nothing, so the court held that this is not a malicious use of legal process. Okay, the court held that this is not abuse of legal process. So what does the court means here? Like if we see the commencement of the prosecution, then the commencement begins only after the prosecution, and prosecution starts with the summon, written statement, everything. Okay, so without summon, written statement or arrest, anything, the thing is not be called as whatever the chaos being done by the plaintiff to the defendant is not a prosecution. Okay, so that's what it is. For the commencement, there should be either arrest, summon, or say there should be any kind of act by the judiciary. Okay, so that will be called as prosecution. Okay, so this was the first essential. The prosecution without probable cause. Okay, so the second essential is that the prosecution was without any reasonable or probable cause. Very simple, the case should be false. Suppose it should be like, I am a plaintiff and I filed a suit against the defendant alleging that he has committed the theft in my house, but in reality I know that this is a false case and I do not have any credibility to support my case. So those kind of cases will be what? So I do not have any reasonable or probable cause. I have a beef about that guy, beef about the defendant, and that's why I decided to harass him. Okay, so that will be what? That will be unreasonable and there is no probable cause, okay, to sustain my case. Okay, so this is the second essential, and the third essential is that the defendant acted The defendant acted maliciously. Okay, so number one, we had there should be a prosecution. Number two, we had the prosecution should be without a reasonable or probable cause, and the third is that the defendant acted maliciously. So that should be whatever the cause, whatever the cause that he has shown in the plaint. So that should be for maliciously. Okay, that should be for wrong intention, that the plaintiff wanted the defendant to get disturbed. Okay, so that was the intention of the plaintiff. All right, so yeah, so this is the malicious motive. Okay, and number four, the proceeding complaint is terminated. Needed in favor okay, so number four is that the proceeding terminated in favor of the defendant. Okay, simple. So once the false case is being filed to against the defendant, and the court will determine the case, and after the determination, court has terminated the case. Obviously, that termination will be favorable on the part of the defendant. Okay, so that is another essential. Okay, now so number five, and the last essential is that the damage. So number five is the damage. So due to that activity, whatever the things being put forward, due to the prosecution, legal prosecution against the defendant, so that must result on the damage. Okay, that must result on the damage on the damage on the part of the defendant. So if the defendant does not suffer any damage out of that, that will be not called as abuse of legal process. Okay, so these five essentials should be there in order to constitute abuse of legal process. Okay, so I hope you find this video helpful, and I have tried my best to make you understand about this topic. So if you still have any questions or doubt regarding this topic, you can ask me on the comment section, or you can follow me on my Instagram, and you can connect with me there. So my Instagram handle is, I'll give you. Okay, so this is my Instagram handle, that is optimistic wind. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe kar dijiye, and please if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button. And apart from this, if you want to learn how to prepare for the Assam Judicial Service and grade 3 exam, and how to clear that strategy, what are the books that you need to follow, and everything, if you want to learn, then please visit my channel. You will find that I have created a playlist on my YouTube channel. Please do find that playlist and watch the video. That will do a lot of help to you. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day, guys.